Welcome to Flying Upstream, the podcast where we uncover the choices, practices, and wisdom that defy mainstream conventions. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Louisa, and together we're here to illuminate the alternative paths that have shaped human experiences through the ages. In each episode, we'll examine ways to move beyond societal norms. We're passionate about how timeless wisdom and unique lifestyle choices can foster healthier, sustainable, and enriching lives.
Join us as we navigate, challenge, and celebrate the beauty and insight of walking the road less traveled. If you've ever felt like you're flying north for the winter while everyone else is flying south, you've found your flock.
And you just reminded me of another good point for life is what you need to let go of, because we had to let go of so much stuff to make life on the road work. You cannot take it all with you. So it was releasing, and there were hard decisions in some of that. Some were easy because part of the timing of it was when we had come together and moved in together and gotten engaged, then we were like, okay, what do we keep of each other's? But then we both were like, okay, both of our furniture is at a place where we would replace it soon. So maybe this is the best time. Let's just let it go. And so he was turning in his lease. My car was like, it could be time to let it go. And so those certain decisions were somewhat easier, but some of the other stuff was like, I don't know if I want to let this. No, I need this with me. We can't take this. So there was a lot of decisions in paring down, minimizing, and just taking what was absolutely necessary forward in your journey. It's like that whole let go of the past, but take the lessons forward. And that was the same thing.
Did your nomadic lifestyle change your perception on what's truly important? And based on that, how do you prioritize your personal growth and your fulfillment in your life now?
I'm not a big things person, so that makes life for me easier. I like nice things, but I'm more about experiences and relationships, and those are my highest values. But I think that's the whole key too, is it's really knowing your core values and what matters to you and daring to live by them. Because some people, even when I start working with them, they're not real clear on exactly what their values are because they're so used to what everybody else has set upon them, their expectations of their family or their church or their work or their neighbors living up and comparing to the Jonesies. But some people just think I have to do life this certain way. And yet they know inside something's not matching for them, whatever it might be. So it changed my perspective in the minimalistic ways, but also just in, oh gosh, so many things, because we traveled all across the US and Canada, and you meet so many different types of people. And I love meeting people. And that really had become what I wanted to do. And unfortunately didn't get to bring that part to fruition, but do it in my work. But I wanted to start like an interview series with people across the country and really make it more of a message of how we're more alike than different. There's a lot of differences, but everybody just wants to feel a part of something and appreciated and loved and respected. And we go about it in a lot of different ways. But I just was fascinated with talking to the really young people out there RVing, which is different. It used to only be retirees. And of course, there's a lot of retirees out there, but there's digital nomads in their 20s now, and getting their perspective on life and talking to the people who had been RVing for 30, 40 years at this point, even if it was recreationally, some of them full time, just hearing everybody's stories and where they're from and what they're all about. Certain places we stayed in for a month or two when we were working and doing live talks and workshops, and we'd get to know some people and they'd share their lives. One guy he'd gone on like the 23andMe and the DNA stuff, found out he had a child he never knew about, found out he had siblings he didn't know about that were on his father's side, that he had known his father, but had always been estranged. Anyway, people shared some crazy tales with us and just about their travels. And it was a really interesting experiment in human behavior, and just seeing how different people handle the different experiences of the nomadic life and what people like about it and don't like. And it's different for everybody. It was just really like this human soup of very interesting people that you meet, because the people you meet in the South versus the people you meet in Canada versus the people you meet in Seattle or Denver, to the really small towns or even out in Raleigh or something. It was really cool. I've always been a pretty open-hearted person, but I think it changed my perspective a lot just on humans and our differences, and that it's okay. It's cool to have the differences. I do wish for respecting one another and those differences, and I don't think that always happens. But I think if we can just respect that, as long as we're not harming, that's my motto, is we're not harming other people, humans, environments, then we should live by our own values and our own standards. But we do need to take into account that we are a part of something, just not so deep that we put all of our cards into what others think of us or what others think we should do or what, right? Know those values inside your own heart. And it invigorated me to continue to take risks and to encourage people to take the risks that fulfill them, that excite them. And I really love supporting people in that because it brings out an excitement for life. And look, here's what I also want to say. If the most exciting thing in your life is a slower pace and stay in one location and you just go to your job every day and come home and you just are more of a homebody but that's comforting to you, live it and be okay with that. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks you should do, that you don't have to be the adventurer and explorer. Some people, that's not their value. And then they can make themselves feel, oh, I'm too boring or I'm too this, or no, you're not. As long as you're content and feeling at peace and happy with your choices and not harming anyone. I love people designing their lives on their terms and whatever works for them and not feeling guilty about it and not feeling bad about it because other people think they should be doing something different.
Yeah. I love that because that's what you've transitioned to do now for work. You're a life designer. You help people transition and live out their own experiences. What would you say to one of your clients who is hesitant to take a leap? What practical advice would you give them to start designing the life that they love?
It can be a heavy dose of reality because it varies in certain families, but I do see a lot of families that it's no, you're supposed to do things this way, even different parts of the country. Or if people are involved again in religion or people with just the people they know are really tethering them and holding. There's a fear of loss for a lot of people. So I have clients that'll be like, but I'm afraid if I grow, I'll leave people behind. And sometimes that does happen and sometimes it doesn't. But it's not a reason to stay stuck and it's not a reason to stay still. Again, I'm not saying just blow up your relationship. Relationships are everything to me. And I have very long-term, lifelong friendships that have let me go through my journeys and they've gone on theirs. And that's the beauty, because I think there's freedom in that too. It's another big thing that I preach and teach on, is giving other people the freedom to be themselves, right? Because we so frequently get lost if we're not aligned with our own values and we're not in touch with who we truly are. And we're not really living out our highest excitement, whatever that might be. We tend to delegate that to other people. You need to do what I need you to do to make me feel okay. You need to try to make me happy. And look, this is a tricky one too, because I don't subscribe to the, you can't make me feel anything. Because yes, you can run over my foot and that hurts, or you can be mean to me and that will hurt my feelings. So you can impact me, but it doesn't have to change how I feel about myself. And that has been my biggest lesson in life, and one that I work very strongly. So we start there, because if you don't have a strong enough identity, a self core and a foundation of this is who I am, and I'm proud of who I am, and I love who I am, and who I am matters in this world, and my voice and my expression, you're going to get taken off course like that by these naysayers or by people telling you what they want of you instead. So you know thyself and believe in that.
Yes.
Know that there's going to be obstacles on your path. And it's courage. I love that it's from the Latin word cur, of heart. And it's courage is living from your heart and who you really are. And it takes bravery a lot of times.
It does. The lessons and the difficulties and those hardships that we experience along the way, from the way that I look at it, is Those are the opportunities to grow. Those are the little pockets in there that it's like, here you can learn something that's going to help you see the world differently, experience something new, grow in a way that you hadn't before. And it's hard to look at it that way when we're in it. But the truth is that not taking the leap to live from your heart leaves all of those lessons that we're scared of on the table, which then leaves us being smaller than we're intended to be. Like, we didn't come here to be small.
No, and I always say to people, you think you're keeping yourself safe, but you're keeping yourself small. And a small life is an unfulfilled life. Again,
Yes.
enjoy just being home and doing
Yeah.
that's not a small life, because that's you filling your container of what
Yes.
is to you.
For
So I
you.
don't want to send the wrong message that you have to be this world explorer.
No.
But if you're not going after things that your heart is saying it wants, if you're not letting yourself take that risk, if you're not yourself enough to do those things and believing in your ability to handle the obstacles and the trials that will be a part of it. Look, I don't like hardship, but I will always say that, to your point, that's where we grow. We aren't going to change and grow a whole lot with things that are working. Like, why would I change it? Those are our beautiful points of rejuvenation and allowing us peace. So I often say too, comfort zones get a bad rap. Comfort zones are great. They're a place for us to rest. They're a place of ease. They're a place for us to gather our energy. But I also see them as a launch pad, because I do believe your life really happens out of the comfort zone. But I don't think comfort zones are bad. But from that comfort, and you build that momentum and that resilience, and then you leap. And if you have both, your life is a lot more rewarding and a lot more fulfilling. And in that hardship or in those obstacles, you learn who you are and you become more, because you have to. I don't know, to me, it builds a confidence in us as well, to be like, because when I look back and go, I handled that. I feel so good.
I love that.
I had no idea what I was going to do, and I handled it. When you have that viewpoint in this, there was a girl that started Katie, hi, if you're listening. She started a nonprofit over in Liberia, and a school for girls. And she was an inspiration to me many years ago. I did a lot of fundraisers for her and helped with the organization. And I just believed in what she was doing. It was beautiful. But I remember asking her, how did you even know how to start this? And you've got Warren Buffett like proposing to you on one knee jokingly and stuff like that. She's, oh, I still don't know what I'm doing. And I love that spirit of, I keep figuring it out as I go. It's not laid out. And even as you're journeying, it's like all that's laid out is that maybe that next step or that next point, and that's all I can see. I think it was Jack Canfield who said, don't try to leap the whole staircase, just take the next step. But it's so true, because you can't see that far out. And you take that step, and who you have to become and how you have to grow in order to stretch. And then you look back and you're like, man, remember when I had no idea? Now look at this. I had no idea what it was going to happen. And look at what I've created. And then that gives you the courage and the confidence to do it again.
Yeah.
I think that's, I don't know, pretty exciting way to live.
So your journey is incredibly inspiring. Tell us a little bit more about what you do and how you help others and inspire them today with what you do by being what I'm calling a life designer. Hey there, free spirits. Here on the Flying Upstream podcast, we're all about forging your own path. But sometimes even the most unconventional journey can make you feel stuck. There's a missing piece, a deeper purpose you haven't quite grasped.
That's right, Louisa. Many of us crave that feeling of being aligned, living a life that truly resonates with our souls. But what if I told you there's a way to break free from the limitations holding you back?
That's right, Kristen. And I help seekers experience profound spiritual breakthroughs.
Spiritual breakthroughs? That sounds interesting, Louisa. Tell us more.
Absolutely. Through my exclusive program, I'll guide you on a journey of self-discovery using the powerful practice of soul reading. Imagine uncovering the root cause of your energy blockages, releasing self-doubt that's held you back, and awakening the wisdom that lies within.
Whoa, a soul reading that reveals the root cause of your blocks? That's a pretty unconventional approach.
You could say that. In just 7 weeks, you'll gain a personalized roadmap to living a life aligned with your deepest desires, the life you were truly meant to live on your unconventional path.
That sounds like exactly what some of our listeners might need to break free and embrace their authentic selves.
Absolutely. So, if you are ready to step into your power and claim the life you deserve, don't wait. For a limited time, I am offering a free awakening session. Text the word awaken to 617-299-9321 to claim a free soul awakening session with me.
So ditch the script and write your own story of fulfillment. Text AWAKEN to 617-299-9321 and start your adventure today.
My mission with my work is really to help people get in touch with who they are. And regardless of relationship status, and because I do help some people that are either navigating through relationships or navigating what they want in business. It's really just this navigation system of where they want to go. But it's usually people are very caught in their heads. And again, either of what others want of them or what I've only ever had this, or this is how things have always happened. And then that creates a strong sense of anxiety, or if you study attachment theory at all, it creates avoidant tendencies in some people. But our pain, if we don't release, I had a class called conscious creation, and I was like, reveal, release, reframe. But we have to reveal what these limiting beliefs are, what these fears are, what our concerns, the beliefs that are just literally pushing us down because we think that's for other people, not me, or I have no idea how I'd make that happen, or I don't know, I've always been let down. People, we get into that black and white, people always do this, this always happens, this never happens. So I really first start working with people on those negative spirals and those negative thought patterns that often they're not aware of, because it's become so automatic and natural, because a lot of that is just seeking safety. I'm trying to stay safe because that's the brain's main goal in life: keep you safe, keep you alive.
Yeah.
It's important. We need it.
Yeah.
But so it's helping people, though, reveal what's really going on. Here's a practical piece for if you think about something you really want, whether it is a relationship, whether it is I want to be a nomad and go live, or I want to start a business, or I want to release some weight, whatever it might be. But you think about something you really want, and then you just sit, what comes up? Because for a lot of people, it's boom, doubt, voices of the past, what other people have told me, what I think has happened, what I think won't happen. And they're and distract. Is pay attention, because one, there can be some lessons in there, but two, there's also a lot of stuff you usually need to release in that.
Yeah.
And because a thought or a belief is just a thought you have over and over again. And then because that becomes your point of attraction, what you are attracted to, what risks you're willing to take, what things you make motion towards, and energetically and inexplicably what we attract towards us. But it's very, very real. And it just becomes how we live our life. And then we see more of it show up, belief deepens, more of it show up, belief deepens. And then now that's the definition of stuck. I'm doing the same thing because that's all I think I can do. So if you recognize the voice, and a lot of people don't recognize how cruel they are to themselves until they start paying attention. And that self-love portion of it that is so huge. Self-love is not how you think about yourself. Because if I ask people, do you love yourself? They'll usually say, sure, I'm a good person. Well, yeah, and they can list off these characteristics sometimes. And some people can't even do that. But I'm talking people who are like, yeah, I think I'm doing pretty well in life. Yeah. How do you talk to yourself in your own head? When something doesn't go right, what do you say? When things do go right, what do you say? Because some people can't even celebrate themselves. They're just, oh yeah, that's fine. And then on to the next. That's not love. Love is being able to take a moment, pat yourself on the back and say, hey, you know what? I did a really good job, or I just learned something new. I'm proud of myself. And being able to, when things don't go right, or someone doesn't treat you well and someone hurts you, to not then pile it on with you hurting yourself and telling yourself how bad life will always be because it always has. And when we're looking in the rearview mirror of all the hurt and pain, and then thinking that look into the future, that's all there's ever going to be, we're hurting ourselves. And so that's a lot of my work, is then helping people release the story and just rewrite it. Of that sounds simplistic, but I know that on the work you do too, it is not easy. If it was easy, people would be doing it every day. It's not easy because we have a well-worn path, and the synapses in our brain are very well woven. And to create new ones, we have to now get into consistency and repetition of new thoughts, new words, new ideas, new feelings that we hold and beliefs, but that takes effort. And it takes slowing everything down enough to recognize where you are and not shame yourself for where you are, because where you are is just a compilation of the past. The past is over. If you don't like where you're standing today, let's create something different. If you do like where you're standing, let's do more of that. Let's figure out what is working well and how can we repeat that. And then let's take the parts that aren't where you're designing your life and say, let's not say it's because we're unlovable or because we're lazy or because we've never this or always that or nobody ever will be this way for whatever. Let's just pause, because it's all a lie. It's all a lie to say that this is never going to happen out here. You have no idea what is around the corner in your own life.
We don't know.
I know it's a past, but that doesn't mean that's only what's to come. But if you keep operating from the same space, you will probably create the same future. It's like an excavation of everything that's going on inside and helping build that confidence and that courage and the risk taking, but also just the stronger belief, stronger identity, more self-love, how you treat yourself, and then how you move through life. And the stronger that you have that in yourselves, that's where then that giving others the freedom to be who they are. You have to be giving yourself freedom to be you. And one of my favorite movies when I was a kid was Free to Be You and Me. It was like back in the 60s or 70s, this album. Look it up. It's very cute. And my mom loved it, so I loved it. But it's like funny because it's become my message. And it's just, if I'm allowing myself to be me, I'm much more likely to allow you to be you.
Yeah.
And when I allow you to be you, I also then don't hurt myself as much when you're not doing things the way I wish you were. And I don't harm others, but sometimes we do hurt one another if we don't want the same things. But if that's what's best for this other person, be it a business partner, be it a love interest, be it a friend, release them and let them go too. Yeah. And that's hard. I don't do that easily either, because like I said, relationships are very valuable, but the reason we have a hard time letting opportunities or people go sometimes, we don't have to let everybody go, but it's the story we start telling ourselves of, it's because something's wrong with me, that they don't want to be my friend or my business partner or my client or my love interest. Something's wrong with me. I messed up. If I was better, they would want to be here. And that's not always what it is. And even if it is, I wrote an article once about cantaloupe. I love all fruit. Don't really care for cantaloupe, but it doesn't mean that cantaloupe farmers should stop growing it. So maybe you're cantaloupe to them. Who cares? There's lots of people who love cantaloupe. Go find them. Your head against a wall of someone who's, I don't want cantaloupe. It doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you bad, but you stay stuck when you tell yourself that it does.
Yeah.
And then the chasing energy becomes, and the holding back and the shrinking and being small, because, well, these people didn't want cantaloupe, so I bet no one else will. So I'm just going to stay here. And it's, no, go out and venture and find the cantaloupe lovers.
Yes, there's 8 other billion possibilities. All right. Don't stay small. Thank you for sharing that. And so to close up, I would love if there were any resources or tools that you would recommend for listeners who want to explore an alternative lifestyle or who want to start the journey of designing their own lives so that they feel fulfilled. What would you recommend?
One of the books, and I haven't written mine yet, so I'm going to say another book, but one of the books that was very inspiring to me was The Big Leap. It's just amazing. And I believe it's in that book where they talk about like our temperature gauge too, that say you have your thermostat, no, I'm sorry, the thermostat gauge. Like if you have your thermostat set at 70, anything above that, air kicks in to bring it down. Anything below that, heat kicks in to bring it up. So your beliefs become your thermostat setting, right? That if I only believe I can make this much money or have this kind of relationship, or friends will always be this way, or this is the only kind of relationship I can have with my family, all of the things, right? Anytime we go above it, we'll sabotage things unconsciously, a lot of times even, to bring ourselves back to where we meet. So that book is a really great book to just start clearing space in there. Carol Dweck, which is a Stanford researcher on growth mindset, she has a book actually right here.
Oh.
Great book also and that's a fabulous one. And then I have started my Instagram and it's under my name, so you can spell that out for people, but it's ELE and then SOMPRES. I've started doing some reels on there. There's quite a few on there now. They'll get better and better because, I'm still designing my I started a new leap, and here's the thing, it's not always the best at first, and that's okay. I know my work is fantastic. Follow me on IG because it's only going to get better. And you can connect with me on Facebook too. And I do have a business page that IG filters to, but I have a personal page that I share a lot on too. And you're welcome to come follow me there because I do share a lot. I also share a lot of my puppies. If you don't like cute dachshunds, I don't know what to tell you.
And we will link all of those in the show notes for our listeners to follow. And also we'll link everything that you just mentioned in there so they can come find you. And if they want to work with you, it'll all be in there for them. And I want to thank you, Elle, so much for being with us on Flying Upstream today. I know that Kristen is looking forward to listening to the interview. She unfortunately couldn't be with us today, but I am excited for our listeners to get your story because I honestly myself find it so inspiring. I love how open you are about everything. And I love this real life experience that you shared of your journey and how you've essentially had so many beautiful and inspiring different journeys throughout your life, because that's what we like to present here is what's unconventional, and to be able to piece that together with a guest like you who has had a very unconventional trajectory, and to see where you are today and just your joy and your energy, I feel like that speaks volumes. So thank you so much for being here and sharing that with our audience.
Welcome. And I want to share with the audience too, if anybody wants to set up the free session type of thing, I'm happy to do that. I've got some time set aside in my calendars for your podcast. They can just email me if you just will include the email for them, or you can message me on Facebook or IG, either one. But I'll do just a free session to just see where they are and if we seem like a fit for one another. And if they want to talk about working together, I would love to. And I do have some different free resources too. I'm rebuilding my website. It's going to be up at ellesompres.com. It's just under reconstruction. But I've got something called Recalibrate that helps you recalibrate your energy. And that's a free resource. So if that's something, you can always message me to just the word recalibrate, and I'll send that your way as well. Of just how to, and that's really just about recalibrating your energy to be at a better point of attraction, where again, you're stemming from strong belief and confidence and courage rather than fear, worry, and concern, and then wondering why things feel like you're swimming upstream.
All right, free spirits, that's all the time we have for today on Flying Upstream.
We hope this episode sparked your curiosity and ignited a desire to explore the extraordinary paths less traveled.
Even when the current feels strong, a whole world of possibilities awaits.
We'll see you next time on the other side of mainstream.
So keep questioning, keep challenging, and most importantly, keep flying upstream.